Welcome to Paint the Chat Podcast. Presented by Blockade Media. Now, here are your hosts, the big swinger, Mr. Robin Vogt, and fast on the bases, Mr. Sean Michaud.
He's a big spark plug.
Play ball.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Painting the Chat Podcast. Episode 9 coming at you live here on this fine Saturday night. Mr. Sean Michaud, what's going on, buddy?
What's up? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got a lot going on. Tonight, Luka Doncic returns to Boston.
Not with the Mavs.
Not with the Mavs. The Mavs are an absolute mess.
Oh, we're going to need to talk about that for a second after.
Yes. Luka Doncic returns with LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers to TD Garden tonight at 8:30 on ABC and ESPN. Celtics versus Lakers.
Yeah,
Sean,
so if you don't want to listen to us, go and watch the preview for.
At 8:30, we totally expect that you are going to leave here.
If I could, I could split myself and go watch that game, but I got a priorities here.
That's right. We're hoping to wrap up stuff just before really the game gets underway so that we can also enjoy and live tweet and do all the great stuff while we're watching the game as well. But Sean, big game tonight. Luka Doncic comes into town to TD Garden to face Jay Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Boston Celtics. Celtics have been, other than dealing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Celtics have been doing pretty well recently. Looks like they're really the favorites other than Cleveland to come out of the East. And the Los Angeles Lakers are starting to figure it out now. I think the Luka Doncic trade, when you now look, as we'll talk about with the Mavericks and everything going on there, it's a horrible trade for the Mavericks, but it's really paying off for the Lakers as of right now.
It really is. Man, I feel this for those Mavericks fans. I'm like, I didn't watch the game, but I saw the injury from Kyrie touring his ACL at an unfortunate time during the important part, right after the Mavs traded Luka. It's like, okay, who do they have now? It's like, I don't think they're gonna go far anymore after all of that.
No, Anthony Davis is injured, so he's not playing. They just lost another small forward now to injury. The Mavericks are in rebuild mode. They're in full rebuild mode right now. I would say the Dallas Wings of the WNBA are in better shape than the Dallas Mavericks.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Dallas Wings. Hopefully with Paige and then having Gigi Carrington with them, and her girlfriend as well. So
yes. Yeah, no, it's exciting to see what's going on there. But, I mean, they're coming into Boston. They're on a good streak. The Celtics are starting to figure it out as we head towards the postseason. I mean, I fully expect that this is going to be, number one, a high-scoring game.
Yes.
Going to take place. Who do you think is going to stand out here? Is this a Jaylen Brown kind of night? Is this a Derek White kind of night? He's got a beer named after him. It's Sam Adams.
Going
around. So
I think Derek White's going to come back like a dominant again. Not the last game of the game before where him and Peyton Pritchard both put up 40+ points. It's like, I think Peyton scored 43 and then Derek White scored 41. I believe they were the first Boston duo to score 40+ together.
Wow. And
I think it was, what was this other stat? It was I know Peyton had 10 threes, and I think Derek had nine threes. So it was an insane game.
Pritchard combo is turning into really something now.
Yeah, I think Peyton Pritchard is going to get a 6th man of the year. Like what he's been doing, his improvements and all that. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, he really stands out amongst the rest of the possible candidates for Sixth Man of the Year. I mean, it's starting to feel like Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen all over again between Derek White and him.
I know, but it's
different though.
Yeah, it's different. Like, and plus you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown popping off most of the days.
They got a solid squad. Like they're figuring out and
everyone always forgets about Al Horford and what he does. He's such an important player for this team.
Yeah. Especially when Kristaps has not been able to play. I think that Al coming in and being able to do that.
So I heard rumors that they're keeping him until playoffs. I don't know if that's true or not.
Really?
I think people are just either joking or actually doing it.
Kristaps, really?
Well, he's been ill. He's not injured, but he's been ill. So I don't know what kind of illness he has. Is he playing tonight? Do you know?
That's a great question. I thought that I saw come through something about Kristaps and his status. I know, as most Celtics fans know, it really varies from night to night here. It looks like okay, so clutch points 38 minutes ago. Kristaps Porzingis with an illness, who was warming up ahead of the Celtics-Lakers matchup tonight, is out for tonight, the team had announced. And that was as of
he's still ill. I don't know what he has, but
yep. So Kristaps Porzingis is still questionable with an illness, but he is out warming up. So he must be on the mend, I would say. We're probably going to see Kristaps back in. You would hope it would be against the Lakers in such a premier matchup on prime time on a Saturday night, that he would be feeling better. But I guess that their real concern is making sure that he is healthy as we're leading into the playoffs and as we have some tougher matchups coming up down the road.
Like you said, especially when the Cavs are coming in. I mean, depending how this is the first time Celtics will playing the Lakers with Luka in it and LeBron, so it's gonna be an interesting matchup. And also seeing Bronny on there too.
That's true. I mean, Sean, I think the one other thing too that I'm fascinated to see play out here is you talked about Peyton Pritchard and Derek White figuring it out, like the team up and everything happening this season. There's still this gap that exists. And I think tonight's the night for the Celtics to really showcase that, yeah, these two can play with each other and they can dish the ball and they can find outlets and do what they can against a very formidable opponent now in the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, you're talking about this Lakers team added Dorian Finney-Smith as well from the Dallas Mavericks, who was hopping off with Luka before they both came over. I mean, there's going to be LeBron, Luka, and Dorian Finney-Smith on the floor. If Peyton and Derek White don't get hot, this is the chance for Jaylen and Jason to just really pass the ball around and not for Jaylen not to hog the ball, but really get it out to the people that can shoot it. And get it into Jason in the paint.
Yeah. That's what they need to do, or especially getting those jump shots out from where he's really his best at.
I've noticed that with Jason recently. It seems like he's moving away from the 3-point line, stepping inside the paint, letting Derek White, letting Peyton Pritchard take those 3-point shots, and focusing on the paint, and then even dishing it to Al.
His step back 2-pointers when he's either being guarded or is one of his best moves. I think he does it better than his threes. I think he works on it more on those shots than most people think, because those shots are, I think, much harder to accomplish than the threes.
Right.
But we'll see how this game goes.
Right. What do you think tonight's keys to the game are for the Celtics? Like, what do you think they have to do? Is it distributing the ball? Is it playing smart, not getting as many turnovers? Like, what do you think is going to be the key to locking out Luka Doncic and letting an aged LeBron James kind of have to try to take over the game? Do what they
did in the playoffs, where they played a lot of D on Luka, where he got fouled out like this. Like, maybe I don't know if he'll do it again, but I think that's important. But also try to keep the ball away from LeBron too. And we know probably the matchup's going to be Jalen and LeBron, who's that's how it was usually. So
yeah, I'll be fascinated to see when the lineups come through. I know we're kind of heading upon that time. Where they're going to play, where the Celtics are going to play, folks, because LeBron has that ability. I mean, Luka can definitely play a shooting guard, small forward position. Like he can definitely rotate between the two.
Yeah.
The one thing is the rotation of LeBron from small forward to power forward. It's where do they place him in that? Because suddenly you could end up with Dorian Finney-Smith and Luka playing the smaller game and LeBron playing the bigger game, because they haven't really figured out who that big man is yet in Los Angeles. Does that mean that we see more of an Al Horford versus LeBron James, the two veterans against each other in certain scenarios, which again then opens up the floor? I think if you're a Celtics fan, if you're following along with this game closely tonight as a sports fan, it's how much can Al pick off? That's the key to the game. How much can Al Horford and the big men of the Celtics, including Luke Cornett, pick off LeBron to allow flow and turnovers on the Lakers end so that Peyton and Derek White can get to the other end and get those open shots? It really comes down to the big tonight, because that's the Lakers' biggest weakness.
Yes, and also I think Drew Holiday is back playing tonight.
Oh, wow. So you got Drew back out there too.
I'm looking at Yahoo. I updated 26 minutes ago, so I think he is playing tonight.
So you got Drew Holiday out there who can rotate in with Peyton Pritchard, and
I think that's what I'm reading. It says although Holiday is back against the Lakers, so
gotcha. Yeah. I mean, just to put it on the sports betting side too, I just want folks to know the spread for tonight is the Celtics favored by 6.5 points. And when you look at that, I mean, the over-under of a total of 226.5 points, you're talking about each team putting up at least 110 points.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, that's something else. That's something else. Yeah, here's the lineup. Is Drew, so for folks out there.
Is it the starting five?
Starting five. Drew Holiday. Oh, did I just lose it? I just lost it. I hate it when it does this. So, starting lineup for the Celtics tonight. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford.
Okay.
Here's for the Lakers. This is interesting. Luka's at the point guard. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James is at power forward, and Jared Vanderbilt is starting at center.
LeBron James at power forward? That's interesting.
So really, it's going to come down to, at that point, Al Horford's going to be up against Jared Vanderbilt. LeBron's going to be matched up with Jason Tatum tonight.
I mean, Jaylen Brown starting?
Jaylen Brown is starting at the small forward, and Jason Tatum is at the power forward position.
That's an interesting one. Okay.
So there must be something in there. They think that Jared Vanderbilt's probably not going to play a lot of minutes tonight.
Unless they're going to switch back and forth with Jalen and Jason trying to guard or Horford against LeBron. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, because you would want Jason Tatum against Jared Vanderbilt. That would be the mismatch. Because I think Al could probably hold down LeBron if LeBron is not getting up and down the court the way he should.
Yeah, well, if LeBron's not in the paint, so
right.
Well, I mean, if he's in the paint, Al Horford would be there for being a center.
It's interesting that they have Luka at the point guard and Austin Reeves at the shooting guard. So that means that they're expecting that Luka and Austin are going to probably be passing back and forth, very similar to a Derek White and Peyton Pritchard situation, where they're going to be kind of seeking out each other.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Lakers probably watching that game is like, okay, what can we do to hopefully do the same but better,
right?
As well as trying to get.
Is there a possibility? Jason Tatum is really good, so good at forcing the foul, driving the ball into the paint and getting folks in trouble. if they can get LeBron into a situation where at halftime he's got 4 fouls against him and is that close, suddenly you've taken LeBron out of the game.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's a Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith led because there's nobody really on the bench for them.
Well, we also gotta think about the rest tonight as well. It's like who?
Right. We always have to, because this
Honestly,
is a big game. This is a nationally televised game. That's right.
Like how many calls did they go against the Celtics or against the Lakers? We'll have to see.
Yeah. It's. I mean, somebody just pointed out on X. Yeah, the Lakers do have Rui Hachimura, but Rui has not been able to really put up the points, as a big man recently. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I'm just really interested. If Kristaps was in this game, I think the point spread would be different. I think it'd be closer to 8 points. At that point, but I don't know. We're coming up on it. I think the lineups are fascinating to see, how they play out. If you take LeBron out of the game or if you get Luka Doncic in trouble, I don't know. I could see, what do you think, Sean? How many points do you think the Celtics win by tonight? I think the Celtics are going to win this game. I just don't know by how much.
It's gonna be probably
Be close.
I think they're right with the points. They're probably 8 or 7 points above. Depending how much they score tonight, and that first quarter is always important to see how they get. I'm going to say 7 or 8 points. Probably like maybe 110 to like 104, 3. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. I like that 110-104 score. I think that sounds about right for the kind of game it's going to be. I think if LeBron is taken out of this game, though, and I think if they really lean heavily on Luka and Austin Reeves, I would say suddenly the game goes from 7-8 points to 12 to 15 points. I think it drastically changes. But as of right now, I like that. I'm going to take 9 points. I'm going to say the Celtics win by 9. It's going to take a couple of threes, and I think they're going to come from Derek White towards the end of the game.
You think who's your MVP tonight? Then Derek White, you think?
Oh no, I think
I think Jason Tatum is going to go off tonight. I'm going to go for Jason Tatum for not MVP. Sorry, player of the game.
Player of the game. I'm right there with you with Jason Tatum. How many points you got him at?
35.
I think he's pressed 40. I think he's.
I don't think he's going to go 40. I think he's going to probably 35, around that.
Yeah, I have him at 42. Does double come into effect for Al Horford tonight? Is he going to at least get 12 and 12? Or
I think so, depending how much they use him. I mean, he is starting, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated to see. Will Peyton Pritchard have another amazing 3-point night? You put him up against Luka. I mean, can Luka defend somebody like Peyton Pritchard? I don't know.
I'm excited to see how he plays tonight. So,
yeah. Well, that's our preview for the Celtics game. We're going to get into a couple other subjects here. Again, the Celtics are coming up here at 8:30 over on ESPN and ABC. Make sure to check it out. The pregame's happening right now. Kendrick Perkins is probably running his mouth. And speaking of that, Sean, let's get into a gripe of ours before we get into something else that happened that was on a certain network during this past week.
Yeah.
A certain individual. Really not happy with the way ESPN is trending right now. I know the game's on there tonight. We're promoting. We're telling folks that's where they should go and watch it. Go.
Yeah, well, I mean, why else are you going to watch it?
I know that's the problem, right? It'll be on NBC next season, of course. But I haven't been too pleased. I mean, the fact that we're losing around the horn.
I was devastated again. Like hearing that. Like first you take highly questionable away, and then now
you can't lose Boppy.
No, and now you're taking around the horn. Another fan favorite that it was. Can we get rid of first take, please? Like it's getting at this point where it's like first take is
It's the same thing. So
it's always LeBron. They always talk about LeBron. I'm so like they literally recently had I don't fucking whatever his name, the Kai Cenat on. I mean, first of all, why are you putting him on talking about LeBron being better than the best player over?
Yeah, I'm tired of the Michael Jordan LeBron conversation.
I hate that debate so much. It's getting to the point where I can't stand hearing about it because that's all they talk about on ESPN, especially First Take.
Well, did you know Shannon Sharpe is barely on?
Yeah,
he's barely on the show now. It's whoever Stephen A wants to have come on, because Shannon Sharpe is finding success on his own show with Chad Ochocinco at night.
Yes,
and it's a great show.
And I think the TNT crew is going to hopefully have their own show again. I don't know. They're going to be on ESPN, but I don't know how long they're going to be on it, because we heard what Charles said to Kendrick.
Yeah, Charles went off. He was like, if that dumbass basically runs his mouth, or if he basically called him the big dumb dipshit and was like, I'm not going to put up with it. And he's right, because Kendrick has not been doing basketball commentary as long as Charles Barkley. And listen, Kendrick Perkins is a player, did amazing things with the Boston Celtics, did great things with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I get it. He is no Charles Barkley in terms of all-time players. So the fact that Kendrick is, number one, running his mouth about it, okay?
Yes.
And also thinks that he is like the ultimate sports basketball commentator, when Charles Barkley has been doing this since like 1997.
Yeah, everyone on that crew of the TNT has been doing for years. I mean, Shaq's the most recent one being on there.
Well, Shaq, yes, right.
I mean, Shaq deserves to be on there, but
he absolutely does. He's big time. Shaq, Ernie, the whole crew is big time. They're bigger than anything ESPN could ever put together. Ever.
Yeah.
The fact that ESPN is going to have the Pat McAfee show and then the TNT crew on it makes it so much better. But they need to start, like you said, they got to get rid of the sports commentary during the morning, because it's the same subjects for the same 6 hours every single day. The same subjects. Not once does baseball even get talked about.
Not even baseball
hasn't even come up.
But it's also certain teams they don't even talk about.
Right. It's always the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Red Sox get talked about.
No, it's usually the Dodgers or the Yankees. That's always, or
yes,
for basketball, it's always the fucking Lakers. Always the Lakers.
And then if it's the Cavaliers,
or is this anything that's LeBron around? There's other players that are playing.
There's other teams that are having success right now. It's frustrating, man. I totally agree. They got to figure it out, because viewership's going to keep going down.
Also, I knew when I was watching some of the First Take stuff when they had Mad Dog on, I'm like, okay, he talks like, I know him from baseball.
Yes.
He's
Mad
great.
Dog talking basketball is worthless.
I hate him talking about basketball. It's his views are dog shit of it.
It's true.
But I love his baseball views. It like what he's done. It just pisses me off.
I'm right there with you. No, they have to figure it out, because the formula is not working. Mike Greenberg in the morning, like, listen, I think him getting Get Up was a good move. I like Mike Greenberg as a sports commentator. The one thing I don't like are the people that they put around him. What happened to the days of Jamel Hill?
Yes.
Right? Like actual sports talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's only basketball. Like every time, men's basketball, sorry, just the NBA, they don't rarely even talk about college basketball on ESPN. No.
They have college game day for basketball, but it's only on when there's a game and they only have
preview, or when it's after, and that's it.
Jay Billis is on there. Like, there's really smart basketball commentators.
I love those teams that do the college, but even the women's and the men's. Like, I love what they do.
It's frustrating, man. It's really frustrating. I don't know what their formula is, and I think that they're setting themselves up for another sports network, whether that's through Netflix or another streaming service, to come in and start scooping this up. You can't tell me that the TNT crew got the ESPN deal, was worth a lot of money, and they said, we're going to do things our way or we're not doing this. They're going to get in there and ESPN's going to be like, we don't want you doing this. And they're going to be like, fine, we're going to go over to Amazon Prime. We're going to go over to NBC and do this.
All the college games, basketball games, are never on ESPN.
No, they're on FS1.
FS1, they're on
CBS,
TNT, True TV. The
ESPN
actual
doesn't care.
The SEC network.
SEC network, yeah, absolutely. There's an
a great program.
Yeah. No, it's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. And
I know you're a huge golf guy too. They don't talk about golf at all. I know, or tennis.
They put golf and tennis on ESPN Plus on a subscription service. The TGL has been bringing. I was watching today the Arnold Palmer Invitational, okay, on NBC, and it was great. It's like TGL has elevated golf into a way that it never has been before, okay? And it's so frustrating that golf has slowly, and tennis as well, is slowly seeing a rise in viewership. But ESPN could give a flying fuck.
No, I have to go search and to watch either US Open or just any tennis game just to watch it. I mean, ESPN's like, no, okay, we're going to do that, or we're just going to do the ESPN 50-50 or cool, those stories are great and all, but you could play other games.
Sean, is it fair to say this? And I'm just going to throw it out there. Is ESPN becoming the CNN Fox News of sports? Where it's just all this back and forth commentary and arguing with no actual real conversation happening, and content that you're like, what is this? Like, what is this doing for us?
It feels like that. And
I watch more sports commentary stuff right here on YouTube and on social media that's worthwhile conversations than I do on ESPN.
No, I agree. I think also there's more of, I feel like First Take is always on it. It's like 6 hours on it. It feels like, I'm sorry, it feels like how ridiculousness was on MTV all the time. That's what First Take feels like.
I'm right there with you. I watch Pat McAfee's show every day. Do you think I watch it on ESPN? No. I go over to YouTube because they stop it after the first hour. They only show 1 hour of the show, and then you have to go on YouTube and everywhere else to watch the other 2 hours of the show. So it's like, why would I go over to ESPN to watch it to begin with? The only reason that we have ESPN right here was, number one, because of Sunday Night Baseball.
Yes.
NBA coverage. And hockey, because I love watching my New York Rangers. But the problem is they offer that content, right? And then the only one they talk about is basketball and football.
Yeah, a lot of football.
They're not even the mainstream sport. CBS, NBC, and NFL Network are the main football networks, and Fox. But they're the ones talking all about. I don't get it.
I don't understand.
Something's got to change. It's not the ESPN that we grew up with. It's not the I'm sounding like a boomer right now, but it's not the ESPN that we grew up with anymore. And the one that actually cared about all sports.
I'm trying to think of the closest thing for, I guess, local news that gives you old sports talk.
Right.
But for all sports, I can't really think of one. I mean, probably there is one, but I can't think of one for some reason.
It's because most of the shows, like ours, are the ones that cover all sports. It's independent media that covers all sports.
Well, I used to watch like early in the morning before going to school. I used to watch Sports Center.
Same. I used to watch,
but they also do
all sports.
I don't even see it on in there anymore. Or I mean, I don't wake up that time, but like they used to do it during the middle of the day. I don't see it during the middle of the day.
They just introduced Sports Center as SC Plus on the Disney Plus streaming app. So now you only get 1 hour of Sports Center, and then you got to go over to the Disney Plus app to watch the rest of Sports Center.
That's so bullshit.
Why even like just get rid of it on my cable plan? And because I already pay for Disney Plus package, I'll just watch it over there then if I want to. Or I don't know, maybe just stick to YouTube clips then of your Sports Center top 10s. Like just don't even have
I miss the top 10s. I don't see that anymore.
They do it, but it's like buried in the morning. It's so buried.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't see it enough on the YouTube stuff.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen, but if I were strongly encouraging TGL, there are good friends over at TGL. ESPN's been great to you and everything. I would start looking at some other streaming services or NBC or CBS, somebody else to go to do it, because I just don't know if the viewership is there on ESPN anymore. I don't know. But anyway, we're getting close. The Celtics game has begun. Let's get to our final subject here of the evening, Sean, running into Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
Speaking of Stephen A. Smith.
Boy, I'm going to tell you, we probably feel the same way on this. Number one, it's about time somebody did this to Stephen A. Smith.
I'm glad it was LeBron.
And I'm really glad it was LeBron. The fact that, for folks that don't know, you can go on YouTube, you can see the video across social media as well. LeBron approached Stephen A. Smith the other night at the Lakers game and basically walked right up to him and said, "You keep Bronny out of your goddamn mouth."
He had his own Will Smith moment.
Sean, I agree with LeBron on this one. It's like, don't fucking put my family in your conversation.
Yeah, I mean, protecting your son, that's the first thing to do as a father.
He was not being a basketball player. He was being a dad.
Yes.
And the fact that Stephen A. Smith came on First Take and he was like, my agent called me and he told me that I had to address this and that I didn't want to have to bring it up. Well, dude, you know what? You were asking for it. You were asking for it. And also, can I just say, Sean, I'm just going to go off for a quick second here.
Okay, go for it.
As somebody who is an elected official in the past,
and a father to be soon,
and a father to be, and also somebody who has dedicated years to politics on a grassroots level, the fact that Stephen A. Smith is shoving his face into politics, just stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
He is going full into this mindset.
I'm glad Pat McAfee stopped with that too.
Yes, stop.
Stephen, take a, what's the word for it? A page of what Pat did and stopped. I haven't heard him talk about any politics in a while.
There is a place for people to have their political opinions. Stephen A. Smith is absolutely allowed to have his political opinions, okay? 100%. But the fact that he says, well, I really don't like it that people are floating me to be a candidate in 2028, and I don't like this. And then continues on, and invites political voices onto a sports talk show and plays this middleman position. Like, listen, we're going to get in trouble. You ready?
We're probably already in trouble now. So.
Oh, you're already in trouble. I'm going to say it.
Just...
We have tried a celebrity as president, and it doesn't fucking work.
No.
It's never worked.
It never will work.
People, if you want to run for politics and you want to be somebody who's been in the public light for a long period of time, work your way through the ranks. You can't just hop from TV to president. It doesn't work and never has worked in this country. Ever.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor of California. He didn't go for president. He said, I want to serve. What's that? Right. I understand that. But there are a lot of people who were not born in the United States, but tease the idea of it even though they're not allowed to. But he was smart and said, I can't do that. I'm going to serve the state of California. And he stayed in his lane.
He's a smart man. Some others not.
There are just some people who, and I've just watched over the years, we talked about the changes in ESPN, right?
Yeah.
There are just some people who are in that light that start inserting themselves and start really elevating conversations in the political spaces and whatever else. And then when are asked, where did you get that information from, or how do you know about that, have nothing to reference.
Mm-hmm.
I am all for people like Stephen A. Smith and for folks learning about the system, learning how bills happen at a national level and at a local level, and becoming activists in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But going from First Take, going from radio that's about sports for so long and saying Stephen A. Smith has said, I could never find myself in politics. I don't want to talk about politics. Suddenly saying, oh, you know what? If people want to float me for president, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't work that way. And history has shown it won't work that way. Yeah. This is the problem that we're talking with ESPN. This is the problem that we're talking about with media. And it's mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely, maybe the Arnold Schwarzenegger comparison wasn't the best. No. But there are folks who insert themselves into these conversations without experience,
without knowledge,
without the knowledge. And if you're willing to learn, then do that learning.
Don't go hop onto live TV and talk shit that you know nothing about.
Because it's a hot topic. Don't start talking about the stuff just because it's a hot topic. Learn about the process. Learn how it happens. Talk to the professionals first. Those who have experience in politics and in the field. It takes, I can tell you, it takes a long, long time to learn about it all. And I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to learn. It took me over 15 years of being involved in politics to learn how the system works, how it doesn't work, and how things change.
It's going to probably take 15 more years to do that.
I'm going to be learning about it until I am in my grave. That's just how it is. but you can't just hop onto a screen and say, I like the idea of running for president. I like the idea of this. I like the idea of that. When your name has never, ever once been associated with that field. Do you think anybody just hops on to their show and is like, yeah, you know what? I don't have a PhD. I don't have any medical experience, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, you know what? I want to be a doctor tomorrow.
Yeah, no one goes.
It's going to take 8 years for you to do that.
Yeah. Also, no one's also going to go down and start playing with the big team, with the NBA like that. You need experience to do that, and
I know
and skill and training and all that.
It's just it bothers me. It really does. And it's concerning because Stephen A. Smith and others may have the right intentions. They might have the right intentions to actually want to make change and to reach folks and do things. But boy, you got to prove yourself. You can't just hop onto your own podcast and start talking about this stuff. Like, you got to get in the public eye. You got to actually run for some kind of office first. You got to prove yourself in the field. And that's what's lacking right now. We have this mindset, and it's been in sports for a while, and it's existed in general, where people think, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there. Yeah, I host a podcast. I could probably go and do that. Or yeah, I do this kind of commentary. Yeah, you know what? Let me go dip my field. That's how we got into this mess to begin with. Was a lot of people hopped behind a microphone and said, I think this is the right way of going about things, and I think I should be a part of that.
Yeah. Just like being part of this podcast.
Without any experience.
Just like this podcast.
Just like this podcast, exactly. So I really urge Stephen A. Smith, you may not be listening to this, really run for New York City Council. Like, run for select board. Like, really run for your state representative, state assembly member in New York. Get your feet wet in politics first before you decide that, yeah, I'm this big celebrity face. Let me run for president. No. You got to learn. You got to be on the field. You got to work with people. You really got to get your feet wet before you do all that.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
It's like learning how to swim. You got to dip your toe in the water.
It's true. You got to get your sea legs.
You need your own mermaid tail to do it.
That's right. Grow your own mermaid tail. That's the way you do it. Anyway. Sean, I did not give you any space to share your feelings on this whole thing. I just went off.
No,
what is your final take on all of this? Like, is this just basically what we've been talking about this whole time about the direction of ESPN, essentially, or is this just been a long time coming? Essentially, that players are finally saying to sports commentators, "Stop it."
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both at the same time. Like, and I mean, we know X and Twitter are big political views where people spread out the words. So it's like, it's always been like this, but I think it's the height of social media. Like back in the 90s, 80s, they were doing this, but now, like, also, like, even now, it's like, it's gotten worse for doing that, but you can't stop everyone doing that, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just don't want politics and sports to combine. I don't want that. No one wants that.
No.
Like, I don't want to hear anything political when people, unless like for a good cause, and you think it's right, go for it.
Right. I mean, the NBA has done a fantastic job of bridging that with during the Black Lives Matter movement and everything else. The NBA really has been at the forefront of that, and David Stearns and the entire team, at the time, they really approached it in the right light, and the players took control of that. The players are like, yeah, we want to send a message that's very clear. Sports can be really powerful in politics, but also sports, I think that there are parts of sports where it's like, hold on a second here. Hold on. And I'm really glad that LeBron did speak out, because I think there's just so much commentary that goes around. And you can have your thoughts about Bronny James going to the Lakers, but LeBron is taking care of his family at the end of the day. Like, the fact that Bronny went to the Lakers was because LeBron wanted to shadow his son and make sure that he's learning about the game the right way.
Even though some people don't agree with that, I mean, I'm starting to agree with them, but I think that was the right. I mean, for father and son, I think everyone wants to see that. It's fine.
I mean, didn't Ken Griffey Sr. do that for Ken Griffey Jr.? Didn't they play at the same time? So it's like,
I mean, it's a choice. It's a choice, though. So
yeah, it is.
I'm sure LeBron and Bronny talked about it. It was like, oh, Dad, I want to play with you before you retire. So,
and the Lakers were a franchise where Jeannie Buss was like, yeah, we'd love to make that possible. So you can't really blame them for that.
No. No.
So I don't know. It was a long time coming. I think that we're going to start to see more of it too. I think we're going to see a lot more of NBA players, MLB, especially with the power of players unions, which we love to see.
Especially with women's sports too.
Yes, we cannot forget about that. That in women's sports as well, there's empowerment there, and the ability to look at the media and say, we've been second fiddle this entire time. No longer is that the case.
Even like the rise of the WNBA and all the other ones. Yeah. It's just not fair to them, I guess.
It's not. It's important to include on International Women's Day today that, that we have seen the WNBA. I would rather see a lot of networks covering the WNBA and LPGA golf and women's college basketball and, really critical women's sports that exist right now that I feel like more fans are gravitating towards because they're more.
I've been seeing a lot more fans talking about it, especially like I love TNT, what they do. Like, even though they're getting rid of them, but I do love when they have Unrivaled on there. It's fun to watch. I like it.
Yeah, Unrivaled's been fantastic. It's a fun watch. It's the same reason why I watch
it's different.
It's a fun watch. Yeah, it's different. Yeah. Yep, I agree. So, anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, closing off, who's your favorite women's sports player for international women?
Oh,
I'm gonna have to go with Serena Williams. I grew up watching Serena.
Yeah.
As a tennis fan, I especially watching her last go out a couple years ago. It was fun. I think she's one of the greatest tennis players, women's tennis players. So
I'm going to go with one of Serena Williams' greatest rivals. I grew up watching a lot of Maria Sharapova.
Yeah.
And Maria was an absolute blast on, Sunday afternoon tennis, whether it was Wimbledon or the US Open or, the Spanish Open in Barcelona. That was always a fun watch. Especially US Open when it was Maria Sharapova versus Serena Williams or
just having Serena and Venus play together. It's always
yes.
Venus still playing, so hopefully we'll catch her watching a couple more times before she retires. So,
but watching women's tennis over the years, it was just I learned more about the game from watching women's tennis than I did watching the men's.
Oh, no, 100%. I think because we grew up during that time, I think everyone was talking about Serena as we were kids. It was the same thing how with like Derek Jeter. Like because there was Derek Jeter, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady.
Yep. I mean, we're in that.
I just thought of Michelle Kwan of ice skating.
Oh yeah, Michelle Kwan. Yeah,
Tony Hawk.
Yeah, some of the great.
Just trying to think of the players that we grew up watching.
Yeah, it's really true. Reflecting on all of it.
Yeah.
So let's leave it there, Sean. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit that like button for more sports news and content like this, of course. But it's that specific time of the show. It's a little thing we like to call
Plug Time.
Plug Time here at the Painting the Chat podcast at Blockade Media. Mr. Sean Michaud, where can the good people find you on social media?
On Twitter, Sean Michaud 1 or X. Or you can follow me on Instagram at @ZoneZ, and you could find me on Facebook. I don't know if I have you or not, but
same thing. You can find me on Facebook. Not sure I'll friend request back or accept your friend request. We'll wait and see what happens. Make sure to follow me over on X Twitter at X_Robin W Vote, over on Instagram at IG_Robin W Vote. Make sure to check out the Painting the Chat podcast over on X, here on X, because we're streaming live right now at Paint the Chat Pod, and over on Instagram at Paint the Chat Pod. More content coming over there, of course. And of course, with Blockade Media, there's a bunch of new stuff coming up down the road with the announcement of Andor Season 2. We have our Andor recap show that's going to be launching this April, end of April specifically, when the new Andor episodes hit, with Star Wars Celebration coming up. There's going to be a lot of content around that. And of course, more movie news and reviews that will be coming down the road.
And maybe maybe reviews of, because I might, for coming back from Japan, I might get some Japanese baseball cards and open up here.
Ooh, that's right.
Or anything sports there. So,
so for Robin Vogt, that's Mr. Sean Michaud over there. We will catch you next week on Painting That Chat podcast. And until then, folks, enjoy the game tonight. Go Celtics.
Go Celtics. Oh, I'm not wearing Celtics, but
I know.
Close enough. Go Celtics.
We will catch you next week, folks. Enjoy the game. We'll see you soon. Peace out.
Catch you on the flip side.